for President-elect Trump. But certainly when he takes a seat in January, I think, his administration will be paying attention closely and ensuring that that situation doesn't
Yes.
lead to.
And why not, considering we've seen that happen already during the formation of the interim government. The United States was playing a very crucial role, even though one as an observer. But let me quickly bring in Walter Andersen as well to weigh in on how this is going to pan out for Hindus. And of course, as Lisa Curtis was also highlighting, the critical role that Indian Americans are playing in this election, not just in terms of being a crucial voter, but also the way we've seen them, contribute to U.S. politics. Given all of that, how do you see Donald Trump now standing up for India, for Indians, for concerns as far as security is concerned?
Donald Trump and some people I know who Indians who have been in touch with him, he gets on well with the Indian American community. The Indian American community, is the latest figure I saw is about 4.5 million altogether, and 2.5, 3 million voters. So that counts in certain areas, and he's well aware of that. It's also a very, wealthy community. In fact, it's the wealthiest of various ethnic communities in the United States. And he receives significant support from them, which is often overlooked. The other thing is, on terms of foreign affairs, how will, he handle India? He was a strong supporter of the Quadrilateral. This is that group of 4 countries, in part, formed, because of the China threat. But, that's an organization that has initially started out purely economic and has gradually shifted to have security, links to it. And as the public statements he's made about it has been very supportive, and that means supportive of India as it looks at potential dangers from China and other areas, threats to the sea lanes of the Indian Ocean. So on that, particularly through the Quad, I think you're going to find, a stronger Indian-U.S. relationship. And I wouldn't be at all surprised if he doesn't try to set up some kind of meeting fairly soon with the heads of those 4 countries. Well, hello?
All right. Yes. I think that's a very interesting point that you've made, but I could quickly bring in Mike. Mike, in terms of our defense partnership, how do you see this defense trade now shaping up for India and the United States? Does it also mean transferring of critical emerging technology, something that the Biden administration had in fact focused on specifically? How will the defense partnership now grow under Prime Minister Modi and a prospective president in Donald Trump?
Yeah, I think going into this next administration, in part to answer that question, we'll need to look at who is coming in to staff certain positions within the administration. But in general terms, sure, I do think that the next Trump administration will understand the importance, both on the economic side and, as you pointed out, on the defense side with India. So, look, there's no mistaking it. This is an incredibly important relationship, right? And we have seen in the past that Trump does understand that, as Walter had just pointed out. So I'm not worried about the strength of that relationship. I'm not worried about this Trump administration coming in and not understanding that. I think it will be top of mind, frankly, because again, you look at the threats that we're facing around the world, the U.S. and its allies, and India is standing there to play a key role in all of this. And so there's a lot of angst in the U.S. right now, right? Understandably so. It's the morning after an election that was incredibly emotive. So we have to let the dust settle a little bit, and everyone needs to take a breath.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, yeah, I think this relationship between the U.S. and India is going to be very strong.
All right. I'm also joined in by Mr. G Balachandran, who's a political scientist, also an academician and uncle to Kamala Harris. Mr. Balachandran, thank you so much for joining in. Now, as somebody who's been very closely observing how U.S. elections in the decades gone by have been shaping up, and as a political scientist, how do you weigh in on what not just United States, but the entire world is witnessing in terms of the results that have come out?
You know, this morning when I woke up, I felt like the chairman of Cunard Ship Lines, day after Titanic sank. It not only it was a personal loss, it was a devastating loss for many people. So I am rather saddened that Kamala didn't win. But contrary to what your other panelists are saying that India will flourish, I don't think so. I'm worried about it, not only for India-US relations. The US, for good or bad, has great influence on the developments around the world. And Trump is certainly not a positive factor in any international environment. He has no concern for international law. He has no regard for international commerce. He is an idiosyncratic person. In fact, he doesn't like alliances. In fact, please understand, after what he said about NATO and Russia can do what it wants to Ukraine, and told Japan, you and South Korea take care of yourself, I'm not going to worry. And to say that he is going to worry about India-China relations in Ladakh is preposterous. But anyway, we'll have to wait and see. I'm willing to take a wager with any of the panelists around here that India-US relations will suffer in the coming years. But
all right, and since you're talking about India-US relationship suffering, we've seen the amount of restrictions that were placed on the H-1B visas, which became an issue during the Trump presidency. Do you think this could also mean bad news for Indian workforce, especially the one coming out from India's IT sector?
Look, his insistence on tariff as a solution for major problems. And India is one
No, but why not immigration? That's been a massive concern for India under the previous presidency of Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, immigration. Look, the Indians cannot claim like the rest of the world that they've got an automatic right to go to the US and everybody should allow them in. India doesn't allow everybody in. So why should everybody allow Indians to come in and do whatever they want? Yes, it will be a problem.
Well, as long as Americans get cheaper labor, then they don't need immigrants. The problem is for them to be getting cheap labor within the United States.
Look, like the economists have been saying, Trump is not. You think the immigrant labor in US is very expensive? They are cheap. But he's more concerned about those things. Yes. And India is one of the very few countries, I think only one of the two countries that have got a trade surplus both in goods and services. Other countries have a lot of surplus in goods but not in services. India has got surplus, so tariff is going to hit India. So I am quite perplexed by all optimists. India and US will flourish. Trump is a great internationalist. He's concerned for international law. But he's got no concern for international law. Now he's going to get out of Iran, which Obama went. He's going to get out of a lot of UN. So let's not talk about us. Trump is a savior. In fact, he's going to be a destructive force.
No, nobody's saying that Trump is a savior. We are weighing in on the foreign policy outlook of that. Mr. Balachandran, I'm going to request you to continue staying with us because you've made a very interesting point as far as trade is concerned, which is